back to DeFi Degens Drip and Farm for Poverty, where on this channel, our vision is to empower the impoverished by helping you find financial freedom through crypto assets. Please subscribe and leave a comment and a thumbs up. Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi Degens Drip and Farm for Poverty. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about basically market psychology, but giving you a history lesson, a brief history lesson of where this actually comes from and why it's withstood the test of time for so long. So some of you probably have heard of the name Rothschild. They are essentially a banking dynasty that go back over about 250 years or so. And they were instrumental in gaining their wealth through a couple of wars and things of that nature. They're from Germany, and then the Napoleon wars that were around the time with France, essentially playing both sides, selling things, all this other stuff. So been around for decades, like I said, 250 years approximately by now, and they have continued to accumulate and amass wealth. And this saying that is attributed to Baron Rothschild, by when there's blood in the streets, on the streets, even if the blood is your own. This is supposedly reference to the wars that were going on and how it was like a civil war and people were dying on both sides. But that was the opportunity to accumulate. And that's the exact same strategy that Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. So it definitely has withstood the test of time, and that's where market sentiment comes in, or market psychology, but more specifically what's known as contrarian investing. So people who are contrarian basically contrast, they do the opposite. So they do the opposite of what the market is doing. Basically, they follow the mantra of Rothschild and Warren Buffett. Fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful, or buying when there's blood in the streets. So that is why only 10% of investors or traders actually make money, because the rest of the market gets caught up in market sentiment and emotions, and they trade emotionally rather than off of analysis or tools or specific key indicators, with removing their emotions from it. So looking at some of the emotional characteristics of crypto investors, there's this study they did that said 76% of respondents said they felt competitive when placing investments, and 68% said they likened it to gambling. So, and that's true. I can definitely relate to that. There's definitely some bits and pieces of this for sure. When you get in, I lived in Vegas for 4 years, so this gambling, it triggers the dopamine receptors in our brain and this euphoria, and it is a very real sensation. So it makes a lot of sense. So the first step into combating all this is actually understanding that you are battling your physiology, your human DNA, the basic things that created us and became the great hunter-gatherers and evolution and all that stuff. It was put there in our brains to have us survive, and that's why we are the way we are. But when you get into these kinds of areas, it can kind of be used against you. But knowing how it works, you can leverage it, or at least create systems so that you don't kind of wreck yourself. So some of the behaviors that they said are relevant in crypto investors are overconfidence. Overconfident investors have an unrealistic sense of control over the development of a coin and overestimate their knowledge and capabilities. FOMO is very real, seeing that all the time within crypto. Fear of missing out is defined as a desire to stay connected with what others are doing. So that's riding the hype wave. We're going to look at that investor chart or a market psychology chart, and you'll see these things. And then investor decisions are influenced by their emotions and bias. And this can definitely be found in crypto, especially because, like for me, for example, I've done a lot of research on drip and forex and all this stuff like that. So I feel overconfident for sure in that case. So in some cases, I may let my emotions get the best of me, or may feel like I've done my due diligence and I know that this is a good project and all that, so I'm just writing it out. But you don't know, right? So at the end of the day, you are indeed gambling, like they say, because there is no certainty in crypto. It's definitely high risk, high reward, and that's why we do it, because the reward that you can get, to me, far outweighs the risk. I'm not going to commit suicide over these losses. So it's worth it to put in here and see what happens, because the reward is just far too great. But being aware that these emotions, these biases color my opinions is very important, right? So now we're going to get into the actual chart that you've been seeing floating around. I think Crypto Kings put it out first time I saw it. I saw it more recently on a couple other YouTuber channels. Even shout out to Luke from Beach Office 365. He put it up as well. So I'm going to share it. But I want to use it specifically to help you guys understand, when and how to take profits. That's the most important part. When to buy, not financial advice, of course, and how to take profits. Because buying is one thing, but you don't make any money until you actually sell it. So at some stage, everybody investing is looking to sell some part of their investment, or else what's the point in buying it? If you don't have to sell it, you can leverage it, but that's not available in Drip as of yet. But it could be for something like Bitcoin. So let's take a look at, I like specifically this one, the Crypto Investor, where'd it go? Chart. Let's close that out, find out where this thing went. So this was apparently created by, I guess, the XRP Army or somebody. I have no idea, but I like it because of the colors and it has less information than the other charts. But we're going to compare this to the chart, and then, of course, the most important part, like I said, is when to take profits. So let's actually do that side by side here. Let's minimize this one and bring it up here. Takes a little while to load, but the point is you need to understand where you are at in the chart and what's going on, so that you can make more informed decisions based off of this. All right, so this one I really like because down here it tells you the accumulation phase. So this is on the traditional 4-year cycle market. Crypto is much more volatile. So you'll be able to see already in the Drip chart, and if you zoom in, you'll see even smaller versions of this already. But if we're just going to use the chart as is, then we could say that this 4-year cycle represents a Drip 15-month cycle, right? So, but the most important part is down here. If it's a project you believe in and you are convinced that you are buying something that is highly undervalued, then this is where you want to get in. It says so right here, buy zone, right? Reaccumulation. And this is the hard part, because if you got in here and you've seen this happen, then you have to reaccumulate, as it says. So a lot of people got up here, and this is where I heard about Drip. Actually, I heard about it here, and I was definitely in disbelief, actually, because I thought it was just another ROI DApp, and all the other projects that I got in during DeFi summer had failed. So I was just like, I'm not getting into this at all. I was somewhere, I had heard about it here, and I was already in like 10, 12 different projects, so I just ignored it. Then I heard about it again up here at the top, and I thought I was getting in at a good spot right around anxiety, because we had this retracement from 170 down to 130. I bought here, so actually for like a couple days I made profit. I actually bought at a second, this bottom red candle. I was like, oh sweet, somewhere at the bottom. It's like 130 on the native DEX, and I was like, this is great. And it started retracing, going back up, and I'm like, yeah, I got in at the right time. So that was literally probably here, and then hit complacency, everything was good, and then went all downhill, right? So the point of this chart is you have to understand, like, yeah, I didn't accumulate down here, so I couldn't sell. That was not worth it. But I was doing all my research, so I had to decide at that stage, yeah, do I get out and take a loss, or do I wait until this happens and, as it says, reaccumulate? And definitely I started reaccumulating. My first big buy was, I think, around 50. I thought that was the bottom because we had this big candle, and I was like, yes, did it again. And then we sold off some more. So definitely went from like denial probably down to depression. This was very depressing. I have to definitely admit that. And we got here. I feel like we got here with disbelief. When we touched way down here at the $4 range, it was definitely disbelief for me. So I feel personally that we are at the hope stage. But if you zoom in here, it's kind of hard to see. We will have another sell-off. So I believe what will happen, that we will get here. Like right now we're in hope. We're waiting for the Animal Farm launch date. And when it gets here, this is probably the $20 mark because everybody said it, called it $20, $25. But that means anyone that's in profit is going to start taking profits there for sure. And then we're going to come back down. But we'll have all of those projects that are going to be launched. So then we'll be able to head back up here into optimism. And in this place, I believe this is where the bulk of the new people getting exposure to drip are going to come in. This will be all the old investors causing the sell-off down here, and then some of the newer ones just getting exposure, but the bulk of them I think are going to come in up here. Back when it gets to around, so call this 20, we'll call this 30 to 50, 30 to 50 or so. But the whole point of this chart that I want to tell you is, how do you actually take profits? So if you have been accumulating down here, which you should, not financial advice of course, but when we look at drip.formulate, we can see that actually people have been accumulating because the average drip size account now is approximately 200 drip. Luckily on this website it shows that. Take a little while to pull it up. But that means people have been accumulating, because I remember previously it was sitting around like 50 or 20 or something like that. So that is good. So if people have been accumulating, where is it? Average user airdrop, my drip. Thought it was somewhere here. Here we go. Average user deposit, right? 200. So what you need to do, let's just say you're the average. You need to find out what your dollar cost average price is, because that's how you would determine if you can take profits. Unless you're just going to hydrate till max claim out, then this doesn't apply to you. But for those of you that want to take profits on the way up, which I think is the best way to do it, you need to determine what your dollar cost average price is. So let's say this person's dollar cost average price is, I don't know, 30 bucks. Let's say that's what all their drip tokens come out to be. Well, remember, with $30, I'm going to just pull this up. You're going to have approximately 25% tax. You have 10% claim, 10% sell, and then your 5% to get into your fiat wallet, right? So we multiply this times 1.25. Simple math, $37.50. So if you got in and you're at 200 and your average is $37.50 to sell, that means you're in profit, then you need to determine, let's just round it up to 40. Determine how much you want to sell at 40, how much you want to sell at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever. Or you pick percentages, 25%, 50%, 100%, meaning from 40 to 60, you're going to sell 25%. From 60 to 80, you're going to sell another 25%, whatever. But you got to have a strategy. And using this chart is one of the best ways to time that. Because remember, as we listen to the contrarian definition and what wealthy people do, bulk of the retail investors getting in are going to just be buying here. If you got in and accumulated, you need to be doing the opposite. That's the only way you're going to be able to take profits. I know a lot of people that got in or down here and then rode it up to the top and just thought it was going to come and bust through the moon, and that drip was going to 500, 250, whatever. So what ended up happening is they didn't get to sell up here. They missed the opportunity. So I'm warning you guys right now, because you're going to feel belief, thrill, and euphoria, and it's going to get up here and something's going to cause a sell-off event. I don't know what it will be, and I don't know where we will be. I can't say that it's going to go from 8 all the way back up to 180, but there will be a peak somewhere. It could be 50, it could be 70, it could be 80, it could be 40, it doesn't matter. But whatever it is, if you've determined what your DCA price actually is, you need to start taking profits, not financial advice of course, but find that out and start taking profits at that area. And you don't have to sell. Like, you can actually take the profits and pair it with Drip BUSD. Yeah, you're going to sell a little bit, and put it into the piggy bank and stake it. You can sell it completely, put it in stable coin if you really want true profits. Put it in stable and put it in the farm under BUSD and start farming the dogs token. So you can still leave it in the system. That's what I plan on doing, till I need it to pay off monthly bills. So again, the whole point of this video was to get you to understand the contrarian investor psychology, the history of knowing how to buy low and sell high, and how it has played a role in shaping the financial markets, and it's still 100% a fact in today's markets, and how to use that to your advantage and not get caught up. Realize that these are real emotions that are going to come in, and your primitive lizard brain will be telling you that at this point it is going higher. And you know now, because we're not there, that you need to put a plan in place, because if you do not, you will get sucked into the hype and euphoria, because a chemical process is taking place in your brain. Make no mistake about it. Your brain is nothing more than electrical and chemical impulses creating a picture of the world around you. And those are very real. Your brain is just in a bone box called your skull. None of the stuff that happens to you is actually quote unquote real. They are electrical and chemical impulses. And when that electrical and chemical impulse of euphoria and dopamine kick in, you are going to believe that it can't stop and it's going on forever. So put the stop loss or processes in place now so that you know how to combat that when it comes into place. Because there's going to be massive FOMO. I already showed you all the topics and documents and stuff like that. So there's going to be people coming in. Maybe we go from 100,000 investors down here at Hope to 250,000. And you're like, man, this train will not stop. It's getting crazy. But that's when you got to check yourself. So hope I beat that dead horse enough. Hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Learn to play the game the way it's meant to be played so that you don't wreck yourself. That's the best I can tell you. And understand the psychology. Specifically, the best thing is understand where your DCA price is, your average drip price. So I know for me, right now I'm at 10.07, and basically 25% of that is $12.50, right? So I know anything above $12.50, I can start taking profits, and I plan to as soon as the farms go live or I reach that the price goes to that point, because I already know that that's what's going to happen is this price chart. So I'm going to take them and put them into the farm or pair them up with Drip USD or something to that effect as soon as that takes place, because I don't need to pay my bills yet. So not financial advice, of course. Hope you guys found that valuable. Until next time, like, subscribe, because I want to get 2,000. That'd be great. Help me get 2,000 for the end of August. And I forgot the rest of it that I wanted you guys to do. Don't forget the No Sell August, and don't forget the scavenger hunt. Yes, like, subscribe, scavenger hunt, No Sell August, and lift daily and achieve your impossible. See you guys.